Object thrown from upper level window sparks Melania Trump speculation, security concerns, and health rumors. A mysterious video showing an object being tossed from an upper level window of the White House has gone viral, triggering a storm of speculation on social media. The footage, which first surfaced on the Instagram, shows an unidentified figure throwing an object out of a window on the side of the White House. Now let's explore this story in depth on today's AI podcast.
Imagine, if you will, you're scrolling through your social media feed, maybe taking a quick break, and then suddenly you see something just, well, utterly baffling. It makes you stop cold. An object flying out of an upper-level window of the White House. Just like that. That's exactly what happened recently, captured in this viral video. And it immediately sparked, well, a storm of questions, theories, and, a fair bit of online chaos. We're taking a deep dive into this curious incident today.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? Not just the event itself, something being thrown from a window, but how quickly that one sort of ambiguous image becomes this canvas for huge speculation. We're talking everything from jokes about former first ladies to really serious concerns, national security, even the president's health. So our mission today is basically to dissect all these layers, the speculation, the official statements, and the sort of underlying concerns this whole thing tapped into. It's really a perfect case study, actually, in how we consume and, well, often misinterpret information today.
Right. And to make sense of it, we've gathered quite a stack of sources for this deep dive. We're looking at those initial social media posts, the ones that just exploded everywhere, then the official White House confirmations and their rebuttals, and various follow-up analyses from news outlets trying to piece it all together. It's quite a mix, all trying to figure out what really happened and maybe more importantly, why it grabbed everyone's attention so powerfully. So let's jump right into that viral spark, the moment that kicked it all off. The core mystery is pretty straightforward, really. A video clip. It shows an unidentified figure, you only see them briefly, tossing an object out of a top-floor window on the side of the White House. Now, the footage first popped up on Instagram on an account called Washingtonian Problems, which, given the name, often shares kind of quirky or odd things about D.C. life. But here's the absolutely crucial bit, the thing that really set the stage for confusion. The clip had no confirmed date or time, none at all. It was just there, an isolated moment, leaving everyone to fill in the blanks. And the internet, well, it doesn't leave blanks empty for long, does it?
No, it certainly doesn't. You're absolutely right. The internet just rushed in to fill that vacuum. It's a classic demonstration of what we sometimes call the information gap phenomenon. When facts are thin on the ground, our brains just instinctively try to make sense of it, right? Often by using what we already believe or worry about or even find funny. And the public response was immediate and incredibly varied. It really shows how fast speculation can just, well, run wild. Like you said, lots of users went straight for the humor or the personal angle, jokingly suggesting it was former First Lady Melania Trump. We even saw one ex-user say, and I'm quoting here, "Given that women usually throw things out of windows, it would be safe to say this is a very mad female." It's that kind of immediate leap, isn't it, to something relatable, even if it's a stereotype.
Oh, definitely. The armchair detectives were out in full force. And yeah, with a sense of humor. It's almost like a game of Clue, isn't it? Melania in the West Wing with the candlestick. But beyond jokes, what does it tell us about our sort of collective appetite for mystery, especially involving big institutions like the White House? Why do we seem to jump to those personal, almost soap opera explanations first?
Well, it speaks to something very human, I think. We connect with stories about people. Even if they're made up, they're more engaging than just abstract events. There's a kind of drama and intimacy in imagining a specific person, maybe someone famous. Behind it all, it makes the White House feel a bit less like a fortress and more human, I suppose, more relatable. But then, like you said, the speculation quickly shifted. It got much more serious, sometimes darker. Other people online immediately started linking it to unverified speculation about President Trump's health, which, as you know, was already kind of bubbling under the surface. We saw posts like another user's comment, again quoting, "Maybe Melania is mad that he's not dead too." And that really shows how quickly an unexplained thing can become a hook for existing anxieties or political feelings or just general unease. It's not just filling a void. It's almost like trying to confirm something you already suspect or fear.
Okay, let's really unpack this then, because it's more than just a weird little incident. It's such a clear example of how an image, totally lacking context, becomes this huge open canvas. For public imagination, yeah, but maybe more for real, underlying anxieties. When we see something we don't understand, our minds don't just sit back. They try to make sense of it, actively. And without hard facts, people just project their own stuff onto it, right? Their concerns, their biases. That's why a simple object chucked from a window can suddenly symbolize everything from political anger to health conspiracies. It often reflects whatever is really churning in the public mood at that moment. And you see this play out all the time, not just with the White House. Any ambiguous event online can trigger it.
Right. So with all this swirling around, the White House had to step in eventually. They couldn't just let it snowball forever. So they did offer a clarification. The official statement went to the Daily Mail. They confirmed the incident was recent. And the explanation was, well, maybe less dramatic than the online theories. They said the object was thrown by a contractor, someone doing routine maintenance.
And importantly, they also pointed out that President Trump was away. It was Labor Day weekend. He was apparently golfing at his course in Sterling, Virginia. So not even in the building at the time. That sounds pretty definitive, doesn't it? If a bit mundane.
Yes, it was definitely intended to be definitive. That official response was key, because it directly pushed back against some of those really specific personal theories, the ones getting a lot of airtime. For instance, the whole Melania Trump idea. Pretty much debunked by reports saying she wasn't even in D.C. that weekend. She's apparently been spending most of her time up in New York with Barron, her son. He just started at NYU, apparently. So yeah, a contractor doing maintenance while the president's away. It offers a straightforward, logical explanation. At least on the surface. The goal was clearly to pour cold water on the speculation with facts and a clear timeline.
Okay, so the White House gives this clear, maybe slightly boring explanation. A contractor, routine maintenance, president's out of town. You'd think that would settle it, case closed, right? But it almost seemed to open up, well, new questions, more intrigue. Why do you think that happened? Is it just general distrust these days, or was there something about that specific explanation that didn't quite sit right with people?
That's a really good question, and it taps into that broader issue, doesn't it? Trust in official stories, especially when people already have underlying concerns. The explanation might have been simple, but it didn't totally kill the conversation. Not at all. What's fascinating is how that official statement, instead of just ending it, actually triggered new questions, particularly about the White House building itself, its structure, its security, those really high-stakes protocols. It was like people weren't just looking for an answer about this one weird event, but for reassurance about the whole system.
Exactly. And this is where it got even more tangled. Right after the contractor explanation came out, some really sharp-eyed people online brought up this whole new angle about the windows themselves. They started saying, wait a minute, didn't they seal those upper-level windows after 9/11, like replace them with bulletproof sealed units that don't actually open? Which, if true, completely changes things, doesn't it? It means a contractor couldn't just casually open a window to chuck something out.
Precisely. That claim about the sealed windows created this real conflict. Cognitive dissonance, you might call it. If those windows are sealed and bulletproof for security, then a contractor just throwing something out, well, that implies either a massive security breach or an incredible amount of effort to actually open one, way beyond routine maintenance. We saw that ex-user Adam Cochran put it very pointedly. He said, quoting again, "After 9/11, the windows were all replaced with sealed, bulletproof windows. To throw something out means removing the pane itself, which contractors shouldn't have access to if the president is in residence." And that comment really hit a nerve. It raised serious questions about security procedures. Were they followed? Should a contractor have that kind of access, president in residence or not? It definitely sparked a whole new wave of public concern, shifting the focus from who threw it to how could this even happen and why wasn't it stopped?
And you could really feel that shift online. People reacted with, renewed alarm. Skepticism about security. It wasn't just idle gossip. It felt like genuine worry. There was a U.S. veteran, John Jackson, who put it pretty bluntly. He wrote something like, "Why is someone throwing objects out the damn window at the White House? This makes zero sense. The media needs answers. What is the Secret Service doing?" That's a strong reaction, really captures that skeptical mood, you know? And another user speculated similarly, suggesting maybe it could be trash that they don't want in the regular White House trash, possible cover-up. They even linked it to Trump's recent absence, wondering if it was timed that way. It just shows how people were desperately trying to connect the dots between the event, security questions, maybe even cover-ups. It's like this one incident became a magnifying glass for much bigger anxieties about transparency and safety right at the top.
And the connections didn't stop there either. This whole window thing also got tangled up with the wider public discussion about President Trump's health, which, as we mentioned, was already a background hum even before the video appeared. People had noticed visible bruising on his hands in the weeks before, and that had already started rumors, speculation about his health. The White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, had actually addressed this previously. She confirmed a diagnosis, chronic venous insufficiency, which is apparently quite common, especially in older adults. It affects blood flow from the legs. But she was very clear in reassuring people. Said there was no evidence of anything more serious, like deep vein thrombosis or arterial disease. And she emphasized that President Trump remains in excellent health, the explanation for the bruising. Consistent with lots of handshaking, plus his use of aspirin, which can thin the blood, make bruising easier. So this window incident just became another data point, didn't it? Pulled into that existing orbit of health concerns, however unrelated it might seem. It's really quite remarkable how once a narrative gets going, new ambiguous information just gets sucked right into it.
Yeah, this is where it really goes beyond just a quirky news item, isn't it? And that acts like a magnet, pulling in all these broader public concerns, security, transparency, even personal health. What does that tell us about how easily these existing stories and worries can just latch onto something small and redefine it? And what does it mean for us, just trying to sort through the information overload every day?
I think it tells us a lot about our own thinking, actually. Things like confirmation bias. That tendency we all have to see new information as proof of what we already believe or suspect. So if there are ongoing worries about, say, a leader's health or an institution's security, any unexplained event, even something as simple as this, can easily be folded into those existing stories. It becomes another piece of the puzzle people are already working on, even if it doesn't really fit. And the implication for us, it's huge. We have to be really aware of the narratives we're already holding on to, because they absolutely shape how we see new fuzzy information. The White House, like any big institution, is always under this intense scrutiny. So any little blip, any perceived oddity, no matter how small, gets amplified by those undercurrents of public feeling.
So if we try and pull all these threads together, what this deep dive really shows is how one simple incident, one lacking any real context at first, it just rapidly became this focal point for all these pre-existing public narratives about security, about transparency, about health. And the official explanations, even when they seem pretty solid, often bump up against skepticism, especially if those underlying concerns haven't gone away.
Exactly. It creates this situation where the initial mystery, just an object falling from a window, morphs into something much bigger. It almost becomes a mirror, reflecting back the public's wider anxieties, their desire for answers, for accountability.
And this isn't just about the White House, is it? This dynamic happens all the time in our totally connected world.
Right. We saw how that information vacuum got filled with everything from jokes to really serious concerns about health and security, and how the official answers, instead of just ending it, sometimes just redirected the doubt into new channels, often fueled by those existing narratives. It's a powerful reminder of just how complex processing information has become for all of us.
So what does this all mean for you, listening right now, scrolling through your own feeds, trying to make sense of it all? Beyond the White House window itself, this deep dive leaves us with a really important question, I think. In an age where any image can go viral, often completely stripped of its original context, how do we, as informed people, navigate that huge gap, the gap between a fleeting, maybe confusing moment captured on video and the complex, often charged stories, some true, some imagined, that inevitably swirls around it? It really speaks to the power of context, doesn't it? And the challenge of trust, and just the incredible speed at which information, and sometimes misinformation, travels and shapes how we see the world.
Okay, one question for you. Do you think this was just a routine maintenance or something the White House isn't telling us? Don't forget to comment it. Thanks.